What's up, guys? It's Simon. So today, tonight, I wanted to make the second of the three videos I talked about, and it's called the Wiccan Rede. That's all I'm gonna call it. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna go through the entire read, because that will probably be a very long video, but the main thing I do want to touch upon is the threefold law. And the reason why I want to touch on that is because it's been interpreted a little too literally, and I think that's why so many people are disregarding it and are turning away from Wicca. Now I know that there are other reasons why people are leaving Wicca. I'm not naive and oops, knocking things over again. I'm not naive and ignorant to that, but I'm just talking about Wicca, the Wiccan Rede, and the threefold law in general. Too many people are reading, it, I don't know how to say this without sounding, like, what's the word, controlling? I guess the best way to take this video is like an argument essay. I'm gonna present you my ideas, my argument, what I feel is right, and I'm gonna give you some support and reasons why I believe this. So that's the best way I can address it. I don't want to say that this is my point of view, because that's not how I look at what I'm about to share with you. It's not something that I came up with. It's something that I've discovered. It's knowledge that I've discovered. It's not a creation. It's not an idea. It's not a theory. It's not my opinion. So I don't want anyone trying to tell me that or getting mad at me because I'm not using those words, because that's just not what it is. It's not my opinion. It's not my perspective or anything like that. So that's the disclaimer that I'm going to give you guys. And so I'm just going to go into what I'll be reading first. Now, I'm not going to read anything besides this book right now. Hold on. Okay. But I'm going to show you. It's going to be backwards, but you'll at least get an idea of what the cover looks like. Well, there's a damn glare on it, and that's not helping. Now, I just got the glare to go away. Okay, well, you see it has that woman on there, and it says the Wiccan Rede, and you can't see the rest of it, but it says couplets of the law, teachings, and enchantments, and then it has the author's name, Mark Ventimiglia, Ventimiglia, and I'll write this in the description below. This was a really cheap book. I think I got it for about like $2 or $3, maybe $4 tops, at Amazon, and it was a used book, and this helped a lot. This was back when I was a Wiccan, and I wanted some clarification on the read. I wanted to understand what it was talking about, and I always worked with the I know it's been called the complete read, it's been called the full read, it's been called the extended version. Yeah, so that's what I was working with. Now, the one that's in this book is a little different than the one that's in my BOC, and part of that is because I changed some of the words in the one that's written in my book, and part of it is because it's just a different version that doesn't have all the couplets in it, I guess. It does have most of it, and it does touch upon each couplet in this book. So I do strongly suggest, even if you're not Wiccan, to get this book, because I think it's going to help you understand the Rede better. There are some things that the author says that I don't agree with, and I'll share that when I go over the threefold law section. Oh, you can't see that. When I go over the threefold law section, I'll point out some things that I don't agree with, and if you get the book and read it yourself, there may be things you don't agree with. So I'm going to read you the complete read as it is in the book, because hold on, I'm looking for it, because that's how you're going to see it when you get the book, and this is what the book touches upon. It touches upon these couplets. It does in regards to this version of the complete read. There are other ones that say some things differently, say some extra things that are not said in here. What I'm talking about that has been omitted is that in the version I found, it had all 8 sabbats talked about in the read. And in this version, there's only Beltane and Yule talked about, which I find interesting. But in the version that I found, it talked about all of them. Now, it didn't have the name of the sabbat for each one, but there was a couplet for each sabbat. So, and I'm not going to read to you that one because I don't want it to get confusing. So I'm going to read to you the one that's in the book, so that way you know what to expect when you get the book. So if you work with a different read, you may want to work with some online sources to understand the other couplets that are not mentioned. But it's not a perfect book. No book is, especially when it comes to witchcraft and Wicca and paganism, or any of those earth-based, magic-based belief systems. No book is gonna be perfect or even come close to perfect or half perfect, because there's just so much diversity in this practice, in these practices, and so many variations. So without further ado, I'm gonna try and read this one-handed. So it says the Wiccan Rede. Now I want to lay something else out on the table. I guess I don't know, can't remember if I said this or not, but I'm not Wiccan, and even though I do follow the Rede, it's not like I follow it as in like 10 Commandments, or I follow it in regards to it being rules. I follow it as kind of like a guideline. I kind of feel it's a reflection of the path that I choose to walk on. And so that's why in my book it's called The Rede. It's not Wiccan or anything like that. So that's my little disclaimer. So it says, by the Wiccan law ye must, in perfect love, in perfect trust. Ye must live and yet live, fairly take and fairly give. Cast the circle thrice about, to keep unwelcomed spirits out. To bind the spell well every time, let the spell be spoken in rhyme. Soft of eye and light of touch, speak ye little and listen much. They also go by the waxing moon, chanting out the sex Wiccan runes. Widdershins go by waning moon, chanting out thy baneful tune. When the lady's moon is new, kiss the hand to her times 2. When when the moon rides at her peak, then thou heart's desire seek. Heed the north wind's mighty gale, lock the door and trim the sail. When the wind comes from the south, love will kiss thee on the mouth. When the wind blows from the west, departed spirits have no rest. When the wind blows from the east, expect the new and set the feast. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them fast and burn them slow. Elder be the lady's tree, burn it not or cursed thou be. When the wheel begins to turn, let the Beltane fires burn. When the wheel has turned to Yule, light the log and the horned one rules. Heed ye flower, bush, and tree, by the lady blessed be. Where the rippling waters go, cast a stone, and truth thou'll know. When ye have and hold a need, hearken not to others' greed. With a fool no season spend, lest ye be counted as her friend. Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. Mind the threefold law ye should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. When misfortune is in now, where the witch's star on thy brow. Oh, excuse me. I'll reread that. When misfortune is in now, wear the witch's star on thy brow. True in love forever be, lest thy lovers false to thee. 8 words the Wiccan Rede fulfill, and ye harm none, do as thou will. So, I'm gonna go straight into the threefold law. And, so that was the 23rd couplet, and it said, mind the threefold law ye should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. It says that this important lesson is speaking mainly of the Wiccan law of retribution. One must understand that the Rede is not a set of laws, but must not be transgressed in fear of eternal damnation, but rather a gentle reminder of the nature of things in our world and how they work. That's very important. This is not a set thing. People are reading the threefold law too seriously, thinking that it's exactly 3 times. It's really not. Now, I know that this was written in modern times because Wicca is a modern belief system, and I'm assuming that's why people are going along those lines. But if you remember, 3 is significant to the goddess, and Wicca is very strongly attuned with the goddess, and being 3, and that is reflection to multiple, not necessarily exactly 3. Okay. Okay, well this is the part where I don't agree with, because the way he words it makes it sound like it literally means 3. So I'm going to read it to you. This means if you do evil, well, first of all, I don't believe in evil, and most witches don't believe in evil, so I'm surprised he used that word. This means that if you do evil, then evil will return to you threefold. Likewise, if you perform good works, then 3 times the goodness will return to you. As I said, this is true, in a sense, where what you put out is what you get. But it's not necessarily going to be like if you donate $5, you're going to get $15. Or if you donate $5, you're going to get $5 from 3 people or something like that. That's not what it's saying. It's saying if you donate $5, you may get an accumulation of $5 back, maybe. Maybe that will be like $3 here, $1.50 there, and 50 cents here or something like that. Or maybe you'll get $5 back and then another $2 and another $4 or another 50 cents, or maybe you won't even get $5 back. Maybe you'll just find $1 on the ground and that'll be it. And you'll find some loose change periodically throughout time. That's what it means, is that whatever you do comes back to you multiple. Now, before I go on reading this, I want to share with you what helped me come to that realization. Oh, what's that? Reading The Secret and the Power by Rhonda Byrne. Maybe it's Byrne. I don't know how to say her last name. It's Byrne. I'll link those both. Not link them. I'll write them in the description below as well. And there's another one, I think it's called The Magic or something like that, and there's one called The Hero. Yeah, and they're really good. I know, like with Silver Ravenwolf, a lot of people have problems with her as well. Like I said, take every book with a grain of salt. Just read it, and whatever resonates with you, take it as your own. Um, I'm not gonna try and find specifically what in the book said that, but if you read these books, you will find something that refers to the Wiccan Rede. Um, it's kind of what a lot of people talk about. What you put out comes back to you. Um, some people kind of refer to that as karma, and I'm not going to go into ideas about karma because I know everyone has different ideas, but basically there's a natural law that kind of ties into this too. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I can't remember if it's the law of rhythm or if it's the law of cause and effect. I'm still working on like really pinpointing and memorizing the laws, the natural laws. There's so many. There's like spiritual laws and there's natural laws, and then there's like different types of natural laws. So I'm trying to like learn them and compile them, and some of them are the same thing and they have different names. So it might be that case with the law of rhythm and the law of cause and effect. But anyway, there's a natural law out there that basically talks about the same thing of what you put out there is going to come back to you. It not necessarily going to be like 3 times, like if you hit someone, you're going to have 3 people hitting you, or you're going to get, if you hit one person, you're going to get 3 punches back or something. It's not necessarily like that. It's just saying you caused harm to someone, you're going to have harm caused to you, and then some. That's what it means. These teachings. Oops. Trying to keep in frame. Okay, well, I guess I'll just skip over to the any harm nones. Do what you will. Because, where is it? Oh, there we go, right there. Okay, and it says, the 26th and final couplet is, 8 words the Wiccan Rede you fulfill, and ye harm none, do as thou will. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people disregard this as well. What this is basically saying is not necessarily, you can't. Well, one, it's talking about any harm none, so that includes yourself. So that means, you know, you know, don't commit suicide, try to get help. You know, don't burn yourself or cut yourself, get help. You know, those are, emotional problems and sometimes psychological problems. So make sure you get help, because if you're, following this part of the Rede, whether you be Wiccan or not, you're harming yourself, which is going against harming none. Basically, what this is saying is not like you can't do self-defense. It's saying that you shouldn't go attacking people. Oh, wow, you're all the way down there. My bad. Don't go attacking people. Don't go harming people. Don't go harming yourself. You know, especially, deliberately. However, it's not saying, that you can't defend yourself. If you remember earlier in the Rede, it said, where'd it go? When ye have and hold a need, hearken not to others' greed. Remember that. That was said earlier. If someone's coming after you, you're in need of protection. You're in need of defense. Okay? So do it. And then that second part that says, hearken not to others' greed, if you are comfortable doing spell work for others, that's fine. But make sure that you're in good standing, and that You're not wasting energy helping someone else when you're in need yourself, because you might not be able to do that spell very well for them if you yourself are not in check. So that's what that's saying, and that's what the and ye harm none is talking about. It's talking about morals. Don't go killing someone. Oops, lose my page. Don't go killing someone. Don't go saying untruthful things about people. Don't go starting rumors. Don't go starting gossip. Just be a good person. Strive to be the best person you can be. Worry about yourself, and once you have yourself in check, then you can worry about others. There was something else that I wanted to touch upon. Where did it go? Okay, well, I guess I'll talk about perfect love and perfect trust. This is not mentioned so much, but I know that there are some people who think that that's a naive thing to do. And basically what it's saying is to go with an open heart. Not, don't be naive. Don't be careless and, carefree to the point where you're making yourself vulnerable, and susceptible to getting hurt. But don't be close-hearted either. Don't be quick to judge. Don't be quick to... Oh, that's right then. Okay, after this I'll mention something else. Don't be quick to judge. Don't be quick to shut people off and push people away. We are here. We are spiritual beings living a physical experience. So bask in that physical experience. Live life with love, and love will follow you. Remember, threefold, y'all. It's gonna come back to you multiple. If you focus on nothing but love, that's all your life will radiate, and any of the negativity will not be able to penetrate your orb of life, and it will not tamper with it or taint it. Is it going to be perfect all the time? No, but you're not going to have all these detrimental things happen to you. I'll reiterate that in a minute. You won't have these detrimental things happening to you if you're focusing solely on love. Now, I'm not going to backtrack, but there is some things I want to say about that. Sometimes you may be doing that, and you experience these bad things anyway. What is on my nose? Sometimes that is because of karma that you are experiencing from past lives. If you do numerology, you can sometimes find the karmic numbers. If you do past life work, you may find what you're doing or what you're going through is karma from a past life. So sometimes that could be the case. Sometimes it's just a lesson you're supposed to go through. I believe that when we pass on and we transcend and we are planning for our next life, we plan certain milestones. I believe that our life is half written and half free will. We all have free will, but we also have fate. We create lives with spirit in regards to what we want to experience and what we have not experienced in our past lives, so that way we can always grow. And so sometimes that may be what's going on if you're going through a bad experience. It can be either your karma or just something you're supposed to learn from and test you. Are you going to keep that love, perfect trust, intention, or are you going to succumb to the negative vibrations? So keep that in mind. Oops, upside down. What was that other thing I wanted to talk about? Soft of eye and light of touch, speak ye little and listen much. Now, soft of eye means a couple of things. Ooh. One, don't give the evil eye. It also means don't judge others. Don't cast judgment upon people. Don't compare people to others. Don't compare yourself to others' lives and how you see them. Don't assume that someone has a great life because of what you see. have soft eyes. Have kind eyes. What was that other part? Light of touch. Be gentle. You know? Be caring. Be willing to hug someone, whether if they need it or not, especially if they need it. Light of touch. You know, nature is actually quite gentle when you really pay attention to it. It has its assertive moments, but for the most part, it's gentle. Butterflies, very gentle. Deer, even the male deer, have a very graceful gentleness about them. So be natural, follow nature, and be gentle. Speak ye little, listen much. I'm sure a lot of you have heard the phrase, you have one mouth and two ears, so you should be listening twice as much as you speak. That basically sums up that part of the read. Be mindful is what it's also saying. You know, bask in that physical experience that we're going through. Don't be so quick to talk. Don't be quick to gossip. Just listen to the sounds of nature. Listen to a friend. Listen to music. Listen. Just listen. Like in Mary Poppins. Where she says, listen, listen. And what's about, what song was that? Yeah, Feed the Birds. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. She was teaching them to be mindful. To be compassionate. Well, not compassionate, because that means to suffer with. But be caring, be kind, be considerate. That's what that's talking about. Is there one more thing? Let's go over the misfortune one. Okay. When misfortune is now where the witch's star on thy brow. Oh, okay, so in here it says to reread chapters 3 and 6, for the power of the witch's star is bound up in our supremely magical and religious symbol, the pentagram. So let me take a little, I know that was pretty messed up. It's really hard to move this book, work through this book one-handed. So we're going over to chapter 6 first. Chapter 6 is talking about runes. Okay. What's chapter 3 talking about? Chapter 3 is talking about the circle. Okay. Well, I'm not going to actually read those in here, because you can do that when you get your own book. Many uninformed people will claim that this is a sign of evil. Some people believe her and say it's a mark of the devil. I don't know. Okay, well, we all know about what the pentagram is, the 5 elements. Here we go. I'm going to start using that term, the 5 powers. I like that much better because I don't see spirit as an element, but I do see it as a power. Yeah, that's a great umbrella term to use. So if you're uncomfortable with identifying spirit as a power, but you do encompass it with the 4 elements, consider calling them the 5 powers. Okay, where is it actually? Where does it start talking about? When misfortune were on thy brow. Okay, well, it talks about how to use the pentagram. And, hello! Okay. Well, it talks about one says protecting the home, protecting the kitchen. I'm trying to see if it talks about, protecting food, protecting your pets. I'm surprised that it's not talking about... Well, I'm not... That's weird. Could have sworn talked about on the brow, but... I know a lot of people will use it when they're getting initiated, or when they're getting dedicated. You know, if you're self-dedicating yourself. I know some people have done it for, like, protection, if they're getting psychic attacks, or if they're doing astral projection, they'll do that to protect themselves. If they're just, not healthy or something, they don't want to get attacked energetically, they'll put that on. I think I've even heard people kind of doing similar to the bindi, where they will, like, get some blue powder, some blue natural powder, and they'll draw the star on them, and it will literally be a symbol that you can physically see, and then witches will know, oh, they're suffering or something, and you'll get help from other witches that way. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, or heard it or something, and that's what I was looking for in the book, but I guess it wasn't here. So that's something I wanted to touch upon. Oh, this was one that really confused me. With a fool no season spent, lest ye be counted as her friend. Where's the... Ah, oh crap. 160. Okay. Well, morals and ethics. Well, this actually goes over to the one before that, when it says, when ye have and hold a need, hearken not to others' greed. Okay. In this lesson, the Rede strays from its normal magical instructions and proposes a wisdom teaching of moral and ethical proportions, teaching the basic differences between need and greed. He who dies with the most toys wins is very common in today's world, and very clearly displays the level of greed present in the world today. Okay, well, that didn't help us. Come on. Okay, so basically what it's saying is, that you may be trying to keep up with the societal norms of having the most possessions. Because it talks about how, jotting down your purchases, so that way you can keep track on them, and pay attention to when people in your life make big purchases, and see if, they're buying stuff after you, and or you're buying stuff after them, and make sure that you're not being greedy, you're buying stuff that you need. Yes, it's basically teaching you to be mindful and to not overspend and overindulge. So basically think of, in regards to the tarot, all you tarot lovers, the devil card. Don't don't enslave yourself in material items. So, with that, let's go over to relationships. With a full no season spend, lest ye be counted as her friend. Here we find the read giving us another common sense teaching. Actually, the couplet is so completely self-explanatory that writing a complete chapter on this subject seems almost redundant. Still, the wisdom is founded on such timeless maxims as, you are judged by the company you keep, and birds of a feather flock together. I've had that one said to me. And so we would do well to look deeply into the teachings of this very important part of the read. Yeah, so this is basically saying that be careful of who you, oh, well, here we go. It says in 1998, Oxford American Desk Dictionary defines fool as a person who acts unwisely or imprudently. The dictionary further defines a fool using such negative terms as a trickster and a deceiver. One definition is merely that of an unintelligent person blundering through life without direction. The other describes a calculated con artist, a vulture waiting to prey on unsuspecting individuals. So basically what you're supposed to do is to live in harmony with nature on all of it. So make sure that you're not putting yourself in compromising positions where you're being taken advantage of. Mind the friends you keep. Just be mindful. Make sure that you set those boundaries. When you hold and have a need, hearken not to others' greed. If you need to take care of something for yourself, make sure you set that me time. Everyone needs me time. So, I hope that helped you. And, as always, thank you for watching, and blessed be my dear witchlings.